Have you ever had one of those days where everything feels off? Maybe you had an argument with someone, work didn't go your way, or you're just feeling emotionally drained for no clear reason. And then, almost without thinking, you end up buying something. Maybe it's a delivery meal you didn't plan for, a new piece of clothing you don't need, or some gadget you were casually browsing online. You swipe your card, click Buy Now, and for a few minutes, you feel better. But here's the thing, that little moment of comfort, it often fades quickly. And what's left is a little more guilt, a little more financial pressure, and one more item in your life that you probably didn't need in the first place. This isn't about lack of discipline or poor money management. It's not about being bad with money. It's about something much deeper, something psychological that affects all of us at one time or another. Today, we're going to talk about why we spend more when we're sad, and often don't even realize we're doing it. Let's start by understanding this. Money is emotional. As much as we try to treat it logically, budgeting, saving, investing, our feelings are constantly influencing how we earn, spend, and save. And one of the biggest emotional triggers when it comes to spending is sadness. When you're sad, your brain goes into a kind of self-protective mode. It looks for ways to restore a sense of control, pleasure, or security. And one of the quickest ways to do that? Spending money. Buying something gives you that little dopamine hit, that instant feeling of satisfaction. It's the same chemical that gets released when you eat comfort food, scroll social media, or get a like on your post. It feels good, fast, but it also doesn't last. There's actually science behind this. Studies in psychology and behavioral economics have shown that negative emotions, especially sadness, lower our self-control. Sad people tend to become more impatient, more impulsive, and more likely to seek out instant rewards like a purchase that feels like a treat. In one famous study, participants who watched a sad movie clip were more willing to spend significantly more on a product than those who watched a neutral clip. Why? Because they were unconsciously trying to regulate their emotions through consumption. Now let's pause for a second. Think about your own habits. Have you ever done some late-night online shopping after a rough day, or justified a random purchase with thoughts like, I deserve this, or just this once? That's emotional spending in action, and it's incredibly common. Retail therapy is even a cultural norm in some places. We joke about it, we meme about it. We say things like, treat yourself, or add to cart, you've earned it. And while occasional indulgence is totally fine, the problem starts when this becomes a regular pattern, especially when it starts quietly damaging your financial life without you realizing it. Emotional spending doesn't always come in big, dramatic purchases. Most of the time, it's the small, frequent, low-stress decisions that slip under the radar. A $25 online order here, a $12 food delivery there, a few coffees or spontaneous upgrades, they don't feel like much in the moment. But over a month? That could be hundreds of dollars you never planned for. Over a year? Thousands. And what's worse is that emotional spending doesn't actually fix the root emotion. The sadness is still there, now paired with regret or stress about money. And here's where it gets even trickier. The more stressed you are about money, the more likely you are to spend emotionally. It becomes a cycle. You feel bad, so you spend. Then you feel worse because your finances are tighter, so you spend again, hoping to feel better. And the cycle continues. But the good news is, you can break that cycle. It starts with awareness. One of the most powerful things you can do is simply start noticing why you're spending, not just what you're buying. Next time you feel the urge to buy something, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is this purchase solving a problem or avoiding an emotion? You'd be surprised how often we shop out of boredom, sadness, loneliness, or stress, rather than genuine need. And once you notice that pattern, you can start to change it. Let's talk about some practical ways to manage emotional spending without guilt. Because the goal here isn't to feel bad. The goal is to feel in control. First, create a 24-hour rule. This is one of the most effective tricks out there. Anytime you feel a strong urge to buy something, especially when you're emotional, wait 24 hours. Save the item in your cart, write it down, whatever you need. Give yourself time. If you still want it tomorrow and it fits your budget, great. But more often than not, That urge fades once the emotion cools off. Second, build a feel better list that isn't tied to spending. Think about 5 or 10 things you can do when you're feeling down that don't cost money. It could be going for a walk, calling a friend, journaling, listening to music, playing with a pet, stretching, even taking a nap. These activities give your brain the dopamine it craves without hitting your wallet. Third, set a monthly guilt-free spending budget. Emotional spending often happens because we feel deprived or restricted. But if you plan for treats, you can enjoy them without the aftermath of guilt or overspending. Maybe you give yourself $50 or $100 a month to spend on whatever brings you joy. No judgment. You're not failing. You're budgeting for your real human emotions. And finally, if emotional spending is something you really struggle with, don't hesitate to dig deeper. Sometimes it's connected to bigger issues like anxiety, depression, or unresolved trauma. Talking to a therapist, especially one who understands financial behaviors, can help you build healthier coping tools. Now, I want to be clear, there's nothing wrong with wanting to feel better. We all have tough days. We all seek comfort. That's human. The goal isn't to become cold or robotic with money. It's to become conscious, to recognize the moments when you're not actually in control of the choice, when the emotion is choosing for you. Because when we become more intentional with our money, we start to feel better in deeper, longer-lasting ways. We feel calmer, more secure, more empowered. And that's the kind of comfort that doesn't disappear after you click buy. So next time you feel that impulse and that pull toward the checkout screen or the store or the food app, just take a breath. Check in with yourself. Ask, is this what I really need right now? You might still choose to buy it, but the difference is you'll be choosing consciously, and that shift from emotional to intentional is where real financial freedom begins.